Here we are, out of practice.
I know, it's the old intro.
I know.
What the fuck are you doing?
I wanted to hear the motor rev.
I know, he's a mess.
You want me to stop it and start it over again?
No.
You bitches.
No.
Here we are, Power and Speed, back again. Call-in number 908-751-0211. Love to have you call in. Tad, who's here in studio. Yep. Hi, Tad. How are you?
Hello, Mike.
Just so we can clear the air right away. How much did you find out about self-learning fuel injection?
Just what I read. No conversations with anybody because Yellow Bullet will not let me sign.
All right, we'll go back to you because you got nothing. What's up, Crunch?
What's going on, Mike? Tom? Tad?
What's up,
James?
Thomas? Did you go anywhere this week or no?
No, I didn't go anywhere, but I got some stuff.
I'm sure you do.
I always do.
And I notice you also still have a minivan.
Yeah. I do. My motor's done. They're waiting on me. It was kind of we had some cross communications. They were waiting on me for heads. I was waiting on them for heads, and just 3 sets of heads flying around somewhere, and I just need one of them. And anyway, they'll get heads this week, and I'll get the car back next week.
So once they put the motor in, you just go pick it up. They're going to tune it, and that's it. You're done. The car doesn't need anything else?
No, nothing else.
All right, good.
Just a motor.
Just a motor.
Yeah.
No big deal.
And you're getting a vet back, right?
Do I really? You got to start me off this way?
Well, yeah, I do, because as soon as we get it back, we got to go somewhere and race.
But see, you already stepped it up once you knew that it was a turd. Crunch dropped the dime on me and said,
That's true.
Mike's gonna eat your stupid little lesbian transport.
I was just going on.
I've been in your car.
If you recall. The feel of the shift.
Were you?
When he was going through the gears.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got in it. And I said it was fast.
Pretty tough.
I said it'd be close.
No, GM agreed to nicely fix something under warranty. Thank you, GM.
I know. Such a stretch for them, right?
At some point, I will dedicate one particular show to do nothing but trash GM. I don't know when it's going to be. I honestly don't have the energy today. I don't.
No, but we should do that, because I will be all over there, and Crunch too, I guess, on their design team. Only
thing I'm going to say is that, basically what they said to me today, as far as the problem that I have with my car, anybody from GM listening, remember when your ignition switches were flicking off and the column would lock and people would run off into a tree and die? I'm sure that people called a little bit about that, probably like I did.
You would think.
Okay, I'm sure they had some heads up. Hey,
prior to some deaths.
A little bit of a problem here, something we might want to look at.
Right.
And let's just say what they told me today was essentially, well, if they had just turned the key back on, this would have never happened. That's basically, if I had to sum it up, that's what they told me today. I'm
Sure.
like, okay. Okay. So, but we will get into that later. But no, I do not have the car back yet.
You think you'll get it back next week?
I don't know. I really don't care. I went by. It's outside. Thanks. Car's never been outside. And I'm not one of those faggots. I probably can't say that.
Jeez.
Well, we took the list down now. You say
I
what
know.
the fuck you want.
I know.
Nice. Well played.
Yeah. I throw a curse word in there.
Yeah. No, I want you to get it back because I want to race.
I know.
And then I immediately want to sell my car.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Why?
You went from the van.
I'm going to get something cool.
That's not cool?
No, it's all right. But I'm going to get something.
You want a Camaro? $74,000
No.
Camaro? Z28?
No, we got to talk about that, though. But no, I don't want a Chevy product. I'm going to get a, I might.
You want a Chevelle? 2016?
Yeah. They're sweet.
Shit sucks.
I might buy a Mercedes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which one?
Like a E55.
My original plan, before the yellow piece of shit that inhabits the other side of the garage, was a McLaren. That was the other plan.
Yeah, he just 3-upped me,
and that's where I was going.
That was for real too. He called me.
I was really thinking about it, and I got my.
How much did they go for brand new?
The ones that I was looking at back then were like $220.
Yeah, I think I had a hand in talking you off the ledge on that, because that would have been about a $75,000 hit in a half an hour.
Yeah, yeah.
The depreciation.
Yeah,
yeah. But now there's some. If you look, there's a couple at a bargain price of like $130.
They are badass, by the way. They are serious badass.
It's a supercar, but not really at supercar price.
Have you driven it?
No,
you don't have to.
I don't think I have to.
No,
no.
You might want to. I drove the CL 550 coupe Mercedes.
Mm-hmm.
I would never buy that. The seat doesn't even adjust to the point where a big guy like me would be comfortable in that car. Now I drove the SL 550, and I could maneuver and get comfortable.
Yep.
And it was different seating positions per style of the car.
Yep.
So you should drive it first. Trust me.
I think I could manage.
Well, it's a
You must
race.
just like the car. You're gonna drive it no matter how bad it feels on the inside.
No, I like it. The technology is amazing. It's entirely active suspension. You know, I mean, it's really, really a trick car. It's pretty neat. And it's funny because like the guys from Top Gear, they kind of said it's too good.
Yeah, they said that about the new Lambo too.
Yeah, it's too good.
Yep.
There is something to be said for a car that you drive that's just like, it's stupid, like it's trying to kill you.
Yeah.
You know, that's
Like a Supra.
yeah, adds the excitement.
Yep.
Okay, but I'm kind of not that guy.
What the fuck are you looking at? You ghost?
Supras. I mean, Jesus Christ.
No. Dude, you put 1,000 horsepower to a Supra and it's a ride.
Put 1,000 horsepower on anything.
No. 1,000 horsepower GTR is like driving a Taurus.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
You talking about a Celica Supra? Back in the day,
A Supra, yeah. Yeah.
They were a neat car.
They are.
they look pretty different, very unique. They were nice.
Yeah. I mean, from 94, I guess, to 97, they made the cool version of them. And
Yeah.
they still get ridiculous money for them.
Yeah.
They get more than it when they were new.
I looked at all shit like that, but I think if I get rid of this thing,
GTR.
220 grand.
I ain't spending 220, bro.
Just get a GTR, man.
Especially not now. I've got my own product line that's going to be out, you know, probably in the next couple months. I gotta get myself back square. You know,
You got to get the Malibu running and looking good.
Yeah,
That's going to cost us about 50.
That ain't happening
Us,
either.
U.S.,
I
me
think
and
it's
you.
going to be more than 50 to
50?
do that the way I'd want. Yeah.
Okay, well, there's the 220 gone.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, but it's that thing. I mean, honestly, like after it was gone a week, I just forget it's not even there. I drive the Excursion all day. I don't care.
I see you have some type of apparatus out there.
Oh, what, the Polaris?
Yeah, Polaris.
The mud maker.
Yeah.
With
Tad,
a lot of dirt on it, like you were having some fun somewhere.
yeah, Tad and I went exploring. He put that on our page. With they're putting a big natural gas pipeline in. And it just, you know,
It's just cool.
it ties into the car guy thing.
Yeah, mechanics.
You look, it's not really a car guy thing, it's mechanics. You want to know how everything works, whether it's putting a pipe in the ground or,
Right.
you know, so they don't dig up the roads for this. This isn't a pipeline like they're putting in a 6-inch pipeline. It's a 24-inch diameter pipeline. It's huge.
Bigger than
Well,
that.
bigger than that, yeah.
Yeah, 3 feet in diameter. It's a
I thought on the side of the pipe we read the other day, it said 24.
yeah, but I couldn't even fit in that thing. This thing we could.
Well, I
crawl
believe
through
that.
it. Ha
I mean, I think it's because it wasn't 48. That's 4 feet.
No,
I think
48.
I think it was 24 inches now. It's a big pipeline.
I'm saying it was bigger.
I guess
just
we're gonna
by
have
the
to go out
pictures I
and
saw.
prove Mike
36.
wrong. Yeah.
All right.
36.
Well, I mean,
We'll
pull,
measure.
pull up your video. You got eight hours
No,
of video.
because then that fucking idiot, it's going to be playing in the background. Just trust me. And you're never going to be able to look at anything. And
Well, it's on the webpage. It's on the speed.
Did you
Power
park
Speed
it?
page.
Did you park it where it's parked? So you're gonna power wash it?
Yeah, I got to clean it.
Oh, okay.
It's a
I saw the power washer next to it. I just put one and one together, and then it's two.
yeah. No, I'm gonna have to clean it up. But you know, they have all kinds of neat shit. Like they don't dig up the roads anymore. Like they bore under the roads.
Yeah.
They made
the creeks on the roads. Everything they go
Yeah.
under it.
they don't disturb anything anymore. It's really neat. So that's why, you know, Tad and I went to just go look and see how they do shit. You know, you just, I don't know.
Kick up a little dirt.
Well, just make, you know, you want to see mechanical stuff, things you've never seen them do before, you know, so it just looked neat. I mean, how often does a 24-inch pipeline get put in the ground? You know, I mean, you don't get to see it. So,
Well, and then you have the signs there. Oh, stop the pipeline. It's like you're 30 years too late. You know.
yeah, but that was neat. So that's all I kind of did this
That was
weekend.
almost time for I'm getting ready for crickets.
For crickets.
Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there.
Yep.
Had a good time. Went to the dealership. I saw the $74,000 Z28
Oof.
2015 red with
how-
that spoiler in the front.
How much power does that make?
I don't remember. It didn't list the power, the horsepower.
Is it?
on it.
Yeah, I mean, I forget what are they supercharged or anything?
I'm not sure.
That is.
I don't
I didn't
remember.
look at it.
Huh?
I didn't look
When I
at it.
saw the 74,000, my son and I turned
was it?
around. Yeah, we would start looking at the
Went
Corvettes.
to look at cobalts or something.
We went to look at the Corvettes after that. Like, Jesus, we're gonna spend that kind of money. You might as well buy a vet.
Yeah, it
Oh,
is.
sorry about that, Mike.
Oh yeah, it is.
Apologize.
yeah. They're stellar. They're fantastic pieces of machinery.
But yours was 94, right? 94,000.
93.9
93?
sticker. Yeah, and it's sitting outside.
It's worth about $80.
But yours is nice, man. You got a nice car.
Yep.
Was it a 15 you saw?
Why don't you just put a? Why don't you just do up the old one?
505 horsepower.
505.
Okay.
Yeah, Z28. I didn't see any other badges like on the Corvettes they had at that dealership. No Z06s, 427s. I didn't
You
see those kind
don't
of badges.
see too many of the Z06s sitting around because they kind of just came out not all that long ago.
Right,
So
right.
they're getting snapped up when they're out there. People that want to go pay like full sticker price on them.
Is yours a Z06 convertible? Is that what it's called, or
It's somewhere in the middle.
is it a 427 Grand Sport?
No,
His is his own car.
it's its own thing.
Yeah, I know, but it's available. I mean, they didn't build one for you, you fucking knucklehead.
No, I didn't.
That was a limited. That was a limited production, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a limited production.
Well,
you know what it basically
I'm
was?
asking what it is. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to call GM out on it. Bunch of dicks. What happened is, I think all the leftover shit they had, some fucking bean counter said, how can we make a new car that everybody would like that's a new model? So they took a Grand Sport, they put a 427 motor in it, put a carbon fiber fender hood, and like a ZR1 splitter on it. And then you got a whole new limited production model,
And what do they call it?
a 427 convertible.
Okay,
That's
well,
what it's
that's-
called.
His has
That's
the
what
badge
I was
on it,
getting at.
427 badge.
Yeah.
I've been looking for them. I don't see those.
No, you're not going to, there's not, they made,
I see ZL1 Camaros and this and that.
yeah, they made like 2,500 of them. And most of them were that butt ugly white. Sorry, any Corvette guys with Corvette socks and underwear and everything else, but they got these. So they do. They're fucking retards. They're wearing a Corvette hat. They got Corvette shoelaces with little checkered flags on them. They're a bunch of idiots.
They're going to be dedicated people to the Corvette that are going to be upset with that.
Then come here and buy this piece of shit.
They have Corvette socks. They make
They
those
probably.
They probably do.
I would bet you.
Corvette socks.
Little sweater.
Didn't we have to return his birthday presents because he wouldn't wear them?
I bet you that if you went somewhere, you could find Corvette shoelaces.
Shoelaces.
I bet you.
That's sad.
Yeah. So I mean, but what I'm saying is that like people will run right out and buy these things.
Yeah.
So the Z06s are limited. I don't know how limited. My thing, they were 2,500. But I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I got a shitload off sticker because it was the end of the year.
Yeah. Right.
So it was a good deal, and it softens up the hit of what you would lose. So I won't feel as bad getting rid of it. I really won't. So I don't even want to talk about that piece of shit or that S from GM that I had to talk to.
I just looked up Corvette shoelaces, and it's a big talk on all the Corvette forums. So
Of course it is.
seriously,
They got to have them, man.
They say guys that get Corvettes. This is what I was told.
vintage new Corvette
Yeah.
shoelaces.
We went with Tom with the soccer mom van
Mm-hmm.
up to the Subaru was a step up.
Yep.
When you buy a Corvette and you're in your 40s, you're supposed to be hitting the midlife crisis.
I'm going to
This
tell
is
you.
what somebody told
Hold
me.
on.
That's what kept me from looking at Corvettes.
Look
But now I'm in my 40s.
Look at Mr. Defense mode over there.
No.
Now I'm in my 40s, and the vets look tough, man. They
Listen,
look good.
I gotta tell you, this is. I swear on my Tad's grave, this is true.
No, that holds a lot of water.
It does. For me, it does. So I go into Wawa, and I didn't even have, trying to think if it was the new one or it was the older one. But it's funny. You look, certain cars bring a reaction from people.
Right.
Like they don't even know what they're looking at, but it
Right.
just brings some kind of reaction. I don't know if
like the minivan.
yeah, like that. I don't know if it's color.
Family.
Tad,
What?
I'm going to push the mute button on you, dude. I swear. I don't know. I don't know what does it, but certain vehicles just get attention.
Right.
To me, yellow cars get attention. I don't know why. It seems like people look.
So do short school buses.
Yeah, true. That's probably why they're orange.
Tad.
So I park my car in front of Wawa. I get out. I go inside, and there's some little girl walking with her mother. Like she's like maybe 7, 8.
Teen.
So no, they're like 7 or 8, like really that young. And she's like looking at the car, and the mother's like dragging her, like the girl's like looking at the car and not really walking anymore. She's like, come on. We get inside. She's like, Mommy, what is that? Mommy, what is that? And we're standing at the cash register. And she goes, that's called a midlife crisis.
Oh,
I'm standing behind her.
wow.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Wow.
yeah, it's that kind of stuff happens, huh? I said, that's the third one I've owned. I've had a long midlife crisis. And, she, turned around and was like, like didn't know what to say.
She was mortified.
But that exactly what she said. That's a midlife crisis. Snotty,
where does this come from? Where do people get this from?
Bitter women that know that their ass is now 7 feet too wide to find a new guy.
Now we're really making fans. Now we're really setting up our fan base.
Yeah.
The husband they divorced has one now. So
we went from faggots to. I mean, you're a train wreck.
Could you imagine being married to that bitch? I mean, really?
Oh, we just shooting for the stars.
I know. We have one listener now.
How many listeners do we have?
And it's
now?
Bud.
Oh no,
Utah's out. It's over.
It is.
Utah's gone.
It's got to be.
Actually, Utah was pretty good.
Not anymore.
Not now.
No. Well,
There's a lot of divorces going on in Utah. There's only 2 guys there with a Corvette, all right?
Yeah, but there's probably only 2 guys married to all the women, aren't there? Like
Mormons aren't allowed to get divorced, are they?
I don't know.
This is just
Thank you again, Tad, for stopping the funny. I know that was harsh to the ladies out there that are listening, but I'll be honest with you.
You can title this one Amtrak for the train wreck. Just my opinion. Just
the reason that we do this, and we do this here in a studio at my house,
I hear it coming.
is because we don't care, or at least I don't care.
I knew it. That's his line. I don't care.
I really don't care,
and he doesn't care.
And the FCC is not going to come here and tell me to shut up. If Glad shows up here, they'll be shown the door, or Tad Subaru, or one or the other, or Tom Subaru, or one or the other. I'm not. Yeah, you both got Subarus, and I'm wondering about both of you.
Man.
All right, so
in his defense, he has had a yellow Corvette for ever, right?
Well, no, I had the black one first.
Oh, that's right. You did have a black one.
Actually, that was Brian and my mom.
Did you have a red one?
Yeah,
no, it was my mom's.
Mother's.
But I was driving that for a while. Yeah, it was my mom's.
And then 2 yellow ones.
Yep. My brother and my mother actually bought me the black one because they knew I wouldn't buy anything for myself. They actually, and then they, so it's been like, and my mom's had them. My mom's had a white one. She had a red one.
My mother and brother have never bought me a Corvette. I'm just saying.
Long story behind that.
He was a good kid.
No,
I was.
No, he wasn't.
To the family, anyway. Not to the local police. But
What is that?
hot dog cookers.
I've seen them.
Well, I swear. Whew. This guy.
All right, let me explain something to the listeners here. Tad is having a very hard time grasping the concept that this is not a visual medium. So he's showing people what happened to you, dude, besides the shit I know.
I think it's a chair.
All right, Tom.
The chair.
Let's go to you. Let's get me off because it's a matter of time before I say something else.
Yeah. All right. What do you want to talk about?
What?
How about Charlie Buck?
That's
Wow.
You heard about that?
Yeah, I heard. I sent it to Mike.
Shit.
I think I sent a link to Mike. Charlie Buck Racing.
I mean, I got 100 hits or 100 posts on Facebook because everybody I know knows him, and apparently they're saying he lost maybe $1 million worth of stuff.
Right, $1 million worth of engines.
1.3.
Is that what you looked it up after?
That's what it said on the thing.
I mean,
They have their pictures.
I'm thinking. I thought a lot of things. I'm not going to say what I really think, but
Probably the same thing.
Somebody can't. You can't move those type of engines unless you have an outlet for them.
Exactly. Well,
the local thieves aren't going to just take those kind of engines.
Dude, I'll tell you what.
They're going to make mad money in
That's
parts
not true.
when they break them apart.
Nope. Well, I think you're wrong.
Talk to me.
They're going to go in a container and go to the Middle East.
Yep.
With the Charlie Buck valve covers off them.
They might even go with them on them. I mean, really.
They probably go with them off them just because you
Put them on when they get back,
them through the port.
So those guys are just buy them and not care.
Well, I mean, I don't know how much those engines cost, but we were guessing before they got it. Well, I mean, if it's 1.3, how many could they have gotten?
8. They got 8 motors, I think.
They got 8 motors.
Okay, well,
$100,000 a piece.
Well,
what I was reading.
there's 800, and what they took a bunch of nitrous jets, and that got them to the 1.3.
I mean,
that's a lot.
They took a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Now this guy had beautiful cameras and everything set up.
No,
alarm
his
system
cameras sucked.
To the alarm system that doesn't go.
But the
to
one guy
police
did pose like right there.
That's what we said.
That's a little rough.
All right, look, those cameras suck. First, here's words of wisdom from Mike. You can't, if you're putting security cameras in, they're made to go back and look to see what happened. But the idea is to stop whatever's happening from happening.
All right, let's not hate on Charlie Buck Racing Engines.
Not trying to hate on him, but here's the thing.
He's actually a really good guy.
I'm sure.
I mean, they're really good people.
And he's really trying to get at him, too. He's trying to find out. He wants his stuff back.
Well, listen, I'm just another personal experience with these cameras. A relatively high quality camera. When I was working with a friend of mine that was doing some IT stuff, he said, "Can you come over and give me a hand and wire this building to put some cameras in?" So we put the cameras in, and sure enough, wouldn't you know it, like, I don't know, probably 3-4 months later, place got broken into. This is so bad, dude. They had a safe that was sunk in the floor. Like it was in the floor.
Right.
So you had to open it up and pull a thing up, and then the safe was counterweighted, and it came up with drawers and everything. They put it back. So it was safe. Like you couldn't really get out. Do you know that these guys went in there? They were in there. They had a tool center at this place. I don't want to say the name of it, but they had a lot of stoneworking equipment, everything else. They went in, they used their own equipment to bash up the floor, to get the safe out of the ground, rob the place. And we're looking at them on the cameras walking around the next day. But you know what? Unless you've got a absolutely fantastic camera and the people are, have their face readily visible, you're not ever going to find anybody.
Oh.
The idea is to know that they're in your place.
But isn't the alarm supposed to alert the police as it's happening?
I would hope so.
Yeah, that's what we're thinking.
Yeah, these guys, 8 motors.
Had to be there a while.
They were there for an hour.
Nobody would be there for an hour.
8 motors.
Dude, if I had to load up 8 motors, it might take me an hour.
Well, yeah, if it was you and Brian, because Brian being, on the internet.
No, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, if you're talking about, even if you had, unless they were crated and he picked them up with a forklift and just threw them in a truck. I mean, I know what the place is like, but they had to be in there a while. Yeah,
but I mean, well, I don't know. I don't have a criminal mind, but you got to believe that they. Yeah, no. No, come on, man. They didn't plan to. You don't set out planning to be in a place for an hour. Like you case the place and you go, okay, this is going to take us an hour, but that's no problem.
Right. Well, here's some interesting stuff. They did post a picture of a guy that was there the night before.
Yeah.
From Street Outlaws. And he was at another place a few nights before that got broken into.
No, really?
Uh-oh. So
this is going to become a TV show?
Let me just say this so we can't get sued.
We got to steal something, man. What the fuck are we doing?
Allegedly, they have a picture of the guy, and he was on, or he looked similar to the guy that was on the Street Outlaw show.
Is his name Joey Bag of Donuts?
All right, now look.
Bag of donuts.
I want to clear the air here. We're certainly not accusing this guy.
No, definitely
not at all.
I'm just telling you what's on Facebook.
Yeah.
It's not the law. It's just Facebook.
Yeah.
It's not like it's Instagram or something.
And he deleted his Facebook page.
Well, he's probably getting hatred. I can understand.
But if you're innocent, you just say, "Hey, I'm here. I'm here where I live, not where Charlie Buck is."
Yeah, I know. I get that, but
that's not his way.
I wouldn't. I think I might have deactivated my Facebook too if I was getting accused. I mean, that sucks, especially if the guy didn't do it. But I mean, it is kind of interesting. Was this particular guy on Street Outlaws as a racer, or
I think so. He was on a couple episodes. Big heavy set white dude with glasses.
Oh, now it's a white dude. Oh, sorry.
I apologize. I'm an African American. This guy happened to be white. He just looks white. He could be black. I don't know. Just going on what I see. And it was just a coincidence that he was there, and they put his picture out. Anybody describe this guy, but then people start coming in. Well, that's the guy from Street Outlaw, so that's how it turned into.
Right.
Why don't we try to get him on the show, and maybe we get him to admit it
after he gets locked up, or
no, like right now?
Yeah, come on.
Got his number? Call him up.
that went
might
left.
happen.
That went left.
So 1.3 million. Huh?
I know it boggles the mind.
My only question is, I guess, depending on where the place is situated. Like Tom said, he knows, exactly where the place is.
Yeah, I do. I've been there.
Could that have been something that somebody could have been in there an hour? Like if they were in there that long, they had enough prior knowledge of where it was, how things were laid out, what, if any, security systems, what they had.
Where
where
everybody would be racing for that weekend.
Yeah, they knew they could be in there for that amount of time.
Yeah, it had to be somebody that somebody didn't pull off the highway and say, "Hey, let's go see what's in that."
Right,
joint.
that wasn't a smash and grab.
No, it was well planned. It had to be, and we're all speculating, just talking, but
we were just going on what we read.
But it's certainly, I mean, I know where the place is, and in and out's easy. Yeah,
Well, I watched CSI, so I figured.
Well, I stayed at
I'd
a Holiday
apply.
Inn last night.
Yeah, I apply what I learned on CSI. And the first thing you do is start with everybody that works there.
Yeah.
You go through the papers, make sure Charlie Buck's not having any financial problems. Then you can move on to the next suspect, people that visited recently, and you follow the money.
Well, I think the most important thing here is that everybody that does happen across, over this, whether you're from Yellow Bullet or wherever, keep an eye out. I mean,
Yellow Bullet.
there's got to be a list of kind of what was taken. There's got to be some identifying stuff to look for. But I unfortunately agree with Tom. I think that happens with, a lot of cars that are stolen, a lot of racing parts that are stolen. They end up in a trailer, or in a container, and they
go
get shipped
somewhere
overseas.
Straight overseas, just like that.
50 cents on a dollar, and nobody gets caught with anything.
Probably no questions asked, and once it's over there, it's gone forever.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned Yellow Bullet, and it'd be great because I heard Tad had a clue about this whole thing, but he couldn't get on Yellow Bullet to post it.
Nope.
For some reason.
Tad, at the risk of going down retard highway with you, could you please tell me? Look, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, I am. I was going to say I'm not trying to hate on you, but I've asked you for 3 weeks to find out a little more about self-learning fuel injection because I don't want to burn the calories doing it. And unfortunately, the only way that you could come up with in your brain was to get on Yellow Bullet and ask people.
Well, it would be the most popular place, I'd think.
Okay. All right. That's if we wanted to talk to somebody who actually used it, which we do. So kudos to you. But
except for the fact that he can't get on Yellow Bullet.
Yeah, exactly.
If something doesn't work, perhaps
in 3 weeks,
go another direction and try to find some information from another source. I don't think that's the only source on the internet.
LS1 Tech.
I posted on Yellow Bullet for somebody to call in tonight and tell us more about the self-learning fuel
probably kind of tough. I don't know if we're going to hit anybody just at the right time that has it or have used it. Who knows?
But by the way, 908-751-0211. Somebody call in and at least make fun of me or Tad or somebody.
Yeah, if anybody is, we would like to have somebody about the self-learning stuff.
Yeah,
that would be really good.
Could have called Holly. Could have called MSD.
Well, you did say you were going to talk to somebody too.
And I did.
Okay.
We talked about it the last show, but you were out of it for.
I didn't even post it. The last show was unfortunate, and I want to get my head together a little bit more. I'll post that in the middle.
Yeah, but I thought, I talked to one of my good customers who does it, and I'm gonna remember what he told me. He has a big block Chevy that made 800, on the pump, and he said it wasn't a Holley system. That he's a Holley dealer.
Right.
And he's going to start using that projection or whatever it's called, but he used the fast, easy EFI.
Right.
And he said it's amazing. You put base map parameters in, fire it up, it learns, and the thing was making 800 horsepower by itself. In a couple of pulls or 10 pulls or whatever.
That's cool.
Yeah. Badass.
Wow.
Tad?
The only one I was able to read because I couldn't ask a question or comment or anything, a guy's got a 3,800-pound 71 Chevelle with an LS
something,
whatever from a junkyard, turbo on it, self-learning, the Holley projection, and it was doing 9.2s at 149 miles an hour, self-learning.
See, the thing that's interesting there is that if it's self-learning and turbocharged, that's pretty impressive. Now, he was a Yellow Bullet guy?
Yes.
Do you have a screen name? Great prep work, Dad.
Hey, I can't. I'm just trying to sign on so I could get in there, but hey.
Awesome. That's pretty decent, too. That's close. 9.2, 149. That's
That's
and it was like I said, 3,800 pounds. It's like, wow.
Yeah, that's close.
Yeah, heavy car. That sounds like it works.
Yeah, I want to see how sophisticated it works.
I'm sure it's probably very basic.
Think it's basic
to get it started. And probably the learning is just a sequence of trims. But I don't know. That's why we would like to talk to. Now, there's a guy on our Facebook page. I think his last name is Ferguson. Isn't that his last name?
Yeah. Somebody was going to call in, but he's always working.
He's got to work. Yeah, he's got to work. It's a bad time. I told him he could, arrange a time to call in, and we just find a way to accommodate him because it is a good subject because it's a direction it puts. The technology puts a little better performance and a little modern performance in people's hands that, don't want to go down that road, that it's too complex.
Yep.
Nobody wants to get anything that you can't fix. If you're a car guy, if you're a guy that does a lot of stuff yourself it's very hard to take your car to somebody else and say, make this work for me.
Right.
You know, you feel like a failure. You know, like the guy on the side of the road in a suit that can't change his tire.
Right.
You know, that's you don't want to give that up. You want to do it for yourself.
Well,
Right.
you just paid $2,000 for a system. You put it on. You were actually able to do it yourself, get it to start. But now you have to pay a tuner how much to tune it, and you feel helpless because you don't know how to tune it.
Right.
You know?
And if something goes wrong, you don't, I mean,
Yeah.
the best way to fix something is you have to understand it. And if you don't understand it, you don't know what it took to make it work to begin with, you got a prayer of hell in fixing it.
Well, they do
can't.
have diagnostic codes on them now, so it's almost like an OBD tune, so you can somewhat tell what's going wrong. But
Okay, so if anybody from Yellow Bullet on the side of the administration is listening, our retarded research assistant, Tad, is apparently having trouble even creating a screening.
I know what the problem is. We hired him as a call screener.
okay,
And you immediately promoted him to a research assistant, and he's overwhelmed.
Overwhelmed. I gave him one task and it's taken 3 weeks.
nobody
well-
can see me going the light on me right now. So
What about when you dispatch him for your phone?
He was good at that.
Okay, well that's 3 things, man.
So he's a gopher. He's the guy that gets lunch and goes and picks stuff up. Listen, seriously, Todd.
In Tad's defense,
Yeah.
you guys tool on him pretty hard.
Yeah, but he's good.
So he's a good guy. You
He's-
guys.
Just see
He
what-
tools on. You know what? He pays us back all fucking week long.
Oh yeah.
I do? Okay.
I read those group texts.
Yeah, with
you guys.
with text messages that no one can discern.
can't help it if you're afraid of clowns. You know,
inside jokes don't always work, Todd. It makes it a little tough, and we're not posting that picture. Want to talk about one other thing that was interesting. Local short track here, and we're in New Jersey, the most protective state
We are.
of its citizens that you could ever possibly imagine. I mean, we can't do this, we can't do that. You can't, God forbid, you have fireworks.
It's a communist state.
Yeah, you want to get a firearm? Okay, well, bend over and give us everything. You know what I mean? Because they're tough.
Right.
They are.
And they're, the typical state that we live in wants to make sure everybody's okay. Everybody can't hurt themselves.
Right.
So one of the local tracks has gotten, and this is circle track stuff, they want to get the kids more involved with racing because that's where your future competitors come from.
Sure.
If you don't have the kids, you got nothing.
Right.
I hate to even bring this up because it's bothering me. My friend Joey, he works at this track, and
Which Joey?
Joey, goofball Joey, the hater.
Really?
Yeah,
He works at a racetrack.
Yeah, he works in New Egypt. Well, he was a fan in the stands.
Is that where you met him?
No. Well, kinda. I don't know. I'll have to think about that. To be honest with you,
Speaking of train wreck.
I think I met him through John. Maybe I needed something. I don't remember how it happened.
All right. Sorry. Moving on.
But so the state police here, they actually control racetracks. They have a lot to say what goes on. So for the longest time, if you were under 18, you could not race. You couldn't, just because you had a valid driver's license didn't mean you could race.
Right.
Because if you're a minor, somebody's got to say, okay. So lately what's been happening is to get in a full-size car, if you're under the age of whatever, the state police qualifies you. So they will set up a rental day at the track. They watch you drive around. They make sure you can handle yourself and, everything's okay. And then they move you into the car. Now,
Like our guest we had.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
right.
That's exactly right. That's how Ryan got into this. So it was kind of funny. Most of the kids that qualify to be able to race are going to race a 2,300 pound car with a GM crate motor that makes 350 SAE horsepower.
Right.
So, I mean, you can do the math. 2,300 divided by 350 tells you power to weight. So this track is starting a new class. And it's an open wheel sprint car class. And they want to take kids from the quarter midgets, the little tiny race cars, and like,
Right.
the things that they race like at Bridgeport and a couple other local speed. I'm sure everybody has them.
Right.
Yep.
And they go anywhere from like a 270, like 2-stroke motor to like a 4-cylinder motorcycle motor. I mean, they're not slow.
Right.
But the state police is going to actually say, okay, yeah, you can drive one of these. Well, now it's a full-size car. It's got no body on it. It's open wheel, which means if you drive over somebody's wheel or somebody drives,
going airborne.
you're flipping over
Yep.
many times. I mean, all you got to do is research open wheel racing. They're they're putting the same motor in the car, and that made it okay because the motor only makes 350. The car weighs 1,200 pounds. Okay.
Wow.
A 350 horsepower motor in a 1,200 pound car. So now Joey,
sounds like fun, actually.
Joey, yeah, for adults that understand that you could die. Yeah. So talking to Joey about this, he says, what's a big deal, dude? It's 350 horsepower. I said, what if you put that 350 horsepower on a skateboard? Would that sound like a good idea to put a kid on?
It'd be hard to get the weight right.
It took him a minute to understand it. But I mean, you know, look, far be it from me to worry about somebody getting effed up. You know, if they're going to screw themselves up, you know, it's up to them and it's up to their family. But I got to tell you, maybe I'm getting older, but my father made both my brother and I promise that no matter whatever happened, Brian would not be in a sprint style car because they're dangerous. They're really tough.
I got you.
So, I mean, this,
but you see the potential danger there.
Fuck yeah, I do.
So you have to speak on it. I mean,
But that's what I wanted to ask, like, Tom. What, you don't think that a kid getting fucking hurt is serious?
It's just circle track, man. It's just, I don't know.
Would you want your 15-year-old kid in a 1,200 pound car that makes 350 horsepower?
Don't care.
You wouldn't care?
No, I just don't care about this subject.
Well, I was going somewhere with it.
I'm sorry. Come on, you got to be hated on once in a while.
It doesn't happen.
Like it or not. It just did.
Not really.
I got applause for the Crickets.
From who?
Tad.
Well, there you go. It tells you who's on your side.
It was a golf clap.
you have to take it out on them when you do the race.
When you, with the junior dragsters and all stuff like that at the track,
Yep.
what's the progression? How old do you have to be to get in a regular car?
I don't know, 16?
16, but
Yeah.
I understand your point. That would be like letting somebody take a 500 horsepower V8 and throwing it on a junior dragster.
Well, yeah, probably gets.
And then the kid would be in a whole nother realm of performance.
See, because here's what I
rough.
see happening. Here's why I bring this up. When Tom was so nice to give me crickets, and we're going to have a discussion about what sound effects he can and can't use on who. To me, I think that, you know, I think we're dying out. I think a lot of the car guys that know how to do the stuff that we do, it's kind of going away.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, we've said that for years.
I know.
Oh, so you're saying they're coming up with all these creative things to try to revamp the excitement of the sport?
They're trying to revamp, and they're trying
to do anything.
They're trying to get kids interested, and it's not because they want to help, you know, the whole, we'll say, car guy society. They're trying to help their pocket. You know, they need more people at the track.
Right.
But I mean, it's kind of sad that, like, this goes back to what the kids learned today. You know, if kids don't get into this stuff, most of what we do is going to go away.
It's going to fade away.
Yeah.
Well, that's why it's so cool. You know, the sport compact deal, we make fun of it, or you guys make fun of it. I drive one. But it's become such a big part of the whole racing scene. And it's because they're kind of easy to work on. They're kind of reliable, even with big power, you know, big-ish power. Most of them are pretty reliable. And people drive them every day and race them on the weekends, and it's okay. So people stay involved. They have meets, they have cars and coffee and all that stuff. So that whole cottage industry is working. But, you know, we talked about it years ago, how if you don't put people in the stands and kids don't watch racing and get hooked and get a car, and then their parents have to go and spend the money, you're right, it dies out.
I mean, you got to think about this from where we are, and it doesn't matter if we're talking about a drag car or circle track car. If you went back years ago, like with the guys, the reason that the circle track cars we race are what they are, you know, solid front axle, everything else, because the axle used to come out of a truck.
Yep.
You know, that's where it came from. The rear ends in the car forever were what's called an 8-bolt spindle rear, because that spindle held the back tires on a truck.
Yep.
That's where all this shit came from.
All heavy duty, right?
Right. So when people were building these cars, they didn't go to the local speed shop and pick up the $2,800 winner's rear end, you know, made out of magnesium center. They bought a rear end and welded on it and put ends on it and did all that stuff. So you got out there cheap.
Right.
Now, if you're going to build a crate car for like the circle track, and I'm sure that somebody with junior dragster would tell you the same thing, you know, you're probably talking about with the motor to be the best you could be, 23.
Yeah.
1,000?
25.
Well, talk about a racket. How about, you know, I'm not changing subjects on you, even though the crickets were perfectly timed. the junior dragster thing, talk about a racket, man. A 5 horsepower Briggs, got 1 piston, it's got 1 rod.
Yeah.
Got that little shitty stock crank. They get 5, 6, 7 grand for those things.
Do they really?
Yeah.
Yep.
We make titanium valves for them. I mean, come on. They go 300 RPMs or whatever they go, right? I mean, I'm kidding. I know they go a couple thousand RPM, but still a couple thousand RPM.
I would have never thought that a junior dragster motor could cost that much.
You know, remember you asked me about the guy from Innovation about
yeah, that makes a starter box for the dyno. Yeah.
About 10 years ago, he machined and built like a 5-speed trans for his kid's junior dragster. It's probably 10 years ago now. And it was like a sequential box.
Right.
And I mean, I saw a video of it, you know, going down the track. It just very cool. And the money they spend on these things, it's crazy.
That must have been pretty neat.
It was neat. That was neat.
I'm sure they outlawed that.
I'm not going to do the sound effect. Yeah, they did immediately. But it sounded cool because you've heard.
When you said that about the circle track situation, it made me think of drag racing as a sport too, with that 4-lane highway situation in the South.
Mm-hmm.
No, that big track.
4-lane drag racing is just like lame to me because there's so much excitement to be had with the normal fundamental 2 lanes, start to finish, stop and go and stop.
See, the 4-lane thing to guys we're all a little older. You know, I mean, we're not, you know, the old guys sitting on a park bench talking by any means, but you know, that is very, pardon the expression, like Fast and Furious to me. Like where you've got 4 idiots lined up and they're,
it's just too much.
They originally did that. The idea was, I think Brunton Smith did that. You're talking about Charlotte, right?
Right.
So the reason they did that was because there was nothing they could do to get TV airtime because the cars were so unreliable that you can't fill time when a dragster blows up and takes 10 minutes to clean the track. So his idea was you have 4 lanes. It wasn't originally going 4 cars at a time. They would have 4 lanes, and if something happened on one pair of lanes, they would switch to the other pair.
Okay.
But the variable was when you're running a race on one side, the track gets good. And then if something happens on that side and you switch to the other side, it's cold. There's nothing going on. It's a disaster.
Yeah, there was no real implementation to make that work.
So what do? You run 2 pair down here, 2 pair down here. It became kind of a shit show. So, they started doing the 4-lane or whatever they call 4 wide nationals.
And is that an NHRA deal?
Yeah.
So what do they do? Like qualify pro stock cars 4 at a time?
Yeah, I mean I believe they run rounds like that.
Makes the field real short.
I mean, I've seen it. I've watched it. It's boring as hell because you don't know what's going on.
And you can't focus on 4 different
No,
cars.
you can't.
You want to see 2 cars go at it and you know the possibility of one passing the other, but you got 4 situations, individual situations. That's lame.
I will tell you, the first time I saw 4 nitro cars, it was kind of cool one time.
Okay.
And then you realize what Crunches said.
Yeah.
You can't follow it.
Well, let me ask you a question. Are there still 2 races going on or is it 1 race? You know what I'm saying? The way we classify a drag race is, you know, 2 guys, 1 pass.
You know what? I could be wrong. Maybe they didn't do eliminations like that. Maybe I don't even remember. You know, I'll confess.
That's a good question.
I've been to a lot of races. I haven't watched eliminations.
Because then realistically, you'd have a final round that consisted to place your top 4 finishers.
It could be. It could be. I haven't watched eliminations in years. I mean, when you've gone to as many races as I have, you just don't do it.
Yeah, you don't care.
I can interject here. Fudd said this wouldn't work.
What wouldn't?
For 4-lane racing, he said, no, it won't work. They can't do it.
I think I'd have to agree with him as much I hate to say. I think he's right.
No, but it has happened, but he said, no, it won't work. It won't happen. And it's happening.
Well, it happens every year. It's happened for a long time.
Yeah, but he said, no, it won't. So,
well, he's Fudd. He's not a prognosticator.
Yes.
That's your input, Tad?
Yes,
that Fudd said?
Yeah. Well, I'm in the chair. I gotta mind meld. Bring him here.
Oh my God.
We need a GoPro in here. I've been saying it every week, and I'm going to keep fucking saying it. We need a GoPro.
He wants 5
aimed
lanes.
at him.
He wants 5 lanes.
Tad, you are just so fucking bizarre.
I was gonna bring something up about that video stuff too, but
bring it up.
Well, no,
the people should know we actually like that though.
Can I say this too about the circle track stuff?
Yeah.
Because I'm not familiar with it. When you talk about it, all I do is relate it to how would it excite me.
Yeah.
Now, I'm just going to tell you. Crickets. Do you know who Wendell Scott is?
Who?
Wendell Scott?
No.
That's Richard Pryor in a movie.
Oh, yeah.
Playing Wendell Scott.
Yep.
I grew up enjoying Wendell Scott.
Yep.
Never thought about going to see a circle track race. So now when you talk about circle track racing and I hear you have the excitement of the same drag racing excitement I have when you talk about circle track.
It's either gas or frustration.
Yeah, it's not excitement.
You have that excitement. So different people have different excitements for all of this stuff. And there's a lot of car stuff going on.
I think
races. When the guest we had, what was his name? Ryan,
yeah, Creighton.
The excitement he had in him that day, this guy was just, and the fact that he was young just made us think, wow, this guy has it going on.
Honestly, the circle track for the most part can be more exciting to watch. Because it happens over a longer period of time. But just like anything else, they can get boring. One guy gets out front, he's gone, and then it's a race for second. Right. And like sprint car racing, to me, I'm sorry if there's any sprint car guys listening, it sucks. I have seen very, very few good sprint car races because they're all insanely fast. One of them's good. Before you know it, they're in lap traffic. You have no idea who's where. It's not good racing.
No, they're interesting when they're on that back wheel going around the turn, front wheel's hanging, but that's about it.
Yeah, it's it's
kind of cool. Yeah.
From a horsepower perspective, I think those things, they're claiming like they're making the 900s now.
Yeah,
and they are
around low 9s. Yep.
Yeah, and they're 1,200 pounds. So that's a pretty serious deal. But just the racing itself kind of sucks. It's, I guess, like anything else. You can have a good race, you can have a bad race. But I think that from an excitement perspective, if you're listening, go check out a local short track. You might be surprised. You might have a good time. It does suck getting dirty. I'll tell you that. It's true. It does suck.
I've seen drag racing on the water with boats.
Yeah.
With the tree drop and everything.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a goofy one.
I've seen a lot of things. I've seen electric RC vehicles, 10th scale, that will blow your mind how quickly they move 132 feet.
Yeah.
I just saw drone races.
That's where they race through.
The latest thing. Just like an air race.
Yep.
By the way, I meant to talk to you. We could talk off the air, but at TI, Texas Invitational, one of my customers had a $4,000 drone.
Mm-hmm.
It was the coolest thing ever.
Mm-hmm.
4-rotor.
Mm-hmm.
It's got satellite navigation.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a go home.
Oh,
feature.
my dumb shit! That little piece of crap I have has that.
Really?
Little one. Yeah. Yeah. All that
so
shit.
they race those in the air.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but this guy he followed the cars around and did video for his boss. But yours has all that?
Yeah. It's listen, mine. What I did is the one day I wanted to see kind of how far it went. I was really hoping to get it all the way to my friend John's house. So I kind of, I can take mine and map where I want it to go.
Yeah, waypoints, right?
And I can tell it go here. And then what it'll do is it's smart enough to know it's taken me this long to get here. It's calculating its battery. And if it says I've gotten to this point and I know I'm not going to make it, turn around and come home. So I kind of just set the thing, to go that direction. And then I wanted to go look at the one neighbor's house. He's got a big spread over there, like nice property, horse barns and everything. I know he's that way. So I launched the thing, put it up and just hit the stick forward, watched it drive away. And then, I don't know, about 25 minutes later, came back and landed. Like, what's up, buddy? Just touched right where it came from.
Wow.
Yeah, that's right. He told me they have as soon as you take off with them, they mark their spot.
Mm-hmm.
And his would go, I think he said 3,000 feet.
Yeah.
Before it gets out of its own range. And it knows when it's within 100 feet of getting out of range. And it pre-programs a height and a direction back to where it was and just comes home.
I just got on YouTube today.
Scared.
Some girl took hers to Island and videotaped Island from aerial, and all these people, wow, that's my car. I'm famous now and everything. But I was like, she's like, oh, thanks. I didn't, you guys are friendly. Nice that you let me come do this. So I was like, wow.
I worry about like flying over a racetrack. Like I was going to bring mine to the racetrack.
Well, she not over, like when you pull in, you remember Island, how you pulled down the road a ways, they pulled off there and she was doing a long view shot of it. So it wasn't over the track itself.
Yeah. I don't think they would let them do that.
No.
Yeah. But when you're in the air, if something goes wrong
and it drops,
the potential is to go that direction.
Yeah. What'd you pay for yours? Can you say?
It was cheap. It was under $2,000. Yeah. But that's what happens. Technology, like the one I was looking at, and I reined that one in too. Cause as soon as I had a cheap one, I'm like, oh, oh, I got to have a good one, you know, and then before I knew it, I had like $14,000 worth of shit in my shopping cart for this shit. And I was like, all right, I got to stop this.
Well, this one, the camera on this thing is ridiculous too. What's the new high end, like 1080p and now
4K.
4K.
Look, there's
it tapes in 4K.
yeah, there's one.
How old am I?
Yeah, the company DJI has a couple now that are 4K. That are, and they're inexpensive, and they got like a 2-mile range of radio, 1.7, I think they are. So that's, or maybe it's 1.7 kilometers. I don't remember.
I was just going to buy a 4K camera, and you're like, why are you going to buy that?
It's not there yet, dude. Take it from somebody who's in video. It's not there yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because you can't watch it on anything, right?
Well, there's, you know, some people have displays and they are coming way down, but it's not there yet. Well, listen, the electronics guy of the show is giving you the authoritative answer that, you know, second quarter of 16 is when shit will change and 4K will start to become more of a standard, and you're going to see content available on disc, and there's going to be stuff.
That's when I'll buy a Windows 95.
Yeah, but I mean that's when 4K Blu-ray will come out, and that's when things like, you know, I mean, look, Tad, you can jump ahead, and it's great. They show 4K on YouTube.
That's not.
Do you have a 4K monitor?
That's not the reason I'm getting it.
What's your reason then?
Because when you zoom in on something on the face, you can open it up, and it's not a blurry thing now because you have that much more definition.
So you're looking for resolution so you can zoom.
Yeah, because you have the whole big. You got both sides of the street. You see something off to the left.
I have one for him, Tom. Hang on.
Yeah.
I was thinking about how good a porno would be.
Wow, are you stupid?
Well played.
But you don't edit it, so.
You never heard that before?
No, I didn't hear
Oh, man.
That's C.J. Craig from The West Wing.
Yeah. Wow.
So you're not doing the Ken Burns stuff.
I'm so glad you're a car guy. Jesus.
So anyway,
Mike, that was harsh.
Yeah, he's like that.
I'm trying to keep myself under control today. I am quite hot. I don't know why, but
I needed that laugh. I was a little depressed. So I'm good now.
What else we got?
I don't know. I mean, the reason we talk about the drone stuff is because this is what the show is more about. It's about cars, but all the car guys
would drive a drone.
They'd fly a drone. Yeah. They'd drive a backhoe.
Shoot a gun.
They'd shoot a gun. You know, I would think 90% of the car guys would be into firearms. You know, I mean, it's just it's not really mechanical guys. We're car guys. We're mechanical guys.
Yeah.
You know, we like things that work and things that we can F with.
True.
Oh, look at me censor myself saying fuck.
I know.
I said faggots before. It doesn't even matter. It kind of takes the edge off.
We're going to F with stuff.
I know. I know.
Bro.
All right, Crunch, you got anything else?
Actually, I was going to ask you guys, because Father's Day just passed.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me, what do you think of now? You know, your father passed away. He was a good man, great man in auto performance. So what memory do you have of something in a performance aspect of your pops? Because my father waited till he was like 50-something years old to decide to get into the cars with me. And now I can't stop him. He's just buying junk all over the country.
Nice.
You know?
I think, like, if you had to say, like, a memory of my father, like, what would I consider?
Well, hell, your whole life is a memory of your father.
Yeah.
I mean, so much time, but I think what I enjoyed, and looking back on it would take a minute, but I think the times that I liked the best were when a lot of the engine building process is thought. It really is. Like when you're trying to figure out a camshaft or you're trying to figure out something. I mean, we would have like discussions like during lunch, or like we got a soda and we're just sitting there hanging out.
Right. And
we'd be talking about, you know, why this intensity of camshaft seemed to work in this combination and why it didn't work in something else. You know, that if I had to put something on what I miss, I don't know that there'd be a defining moment, but that's as close as I could get. But I think overall it's the creative process conversation. Right. I think that's what I miss.
Well, plus a bank of knowledge that he was.
Yeah.
That you could, I mean, that you obviously learned from, but that you would still go to that bank whenever you could.
Well, that's absolutely regret. You know, I mean, that's something like I wish I learned more from him.
Well,
you know,
well, it wasn't like you didn't spend the time.
I know, but like every day that, you know, like you're thinking about something, like, damn it, I can't call him.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that sucks.
He was so cool.
That's why I liked being there, because you ask him a question, he explains to you why.
He always liked you. He used to listen. I'll say this before, and I know Alan's going to listen at some point. I don't give a shit. He used to say, you used to leave, and his phrase used to be, where did you get that guy? And I was like, who, Tad? He's like, he's weird. He's like, but he's not a dummy, but he's weird.
Yep.
Now, Alan, unfortunately, usually the phrase that said, where did you get this guy, is he's warped.
Warped, yep.
I mean, he didn't dislike Alan. He didn't. It just
he didn't have much for him though.
No, he didn't have he didn't have much for Tad either. But he knew that Tad was smart. He just thought he was weird.
He picked on my music too. So
we can't even go. I'm not even going to start with the music, because people are going to they're not even going to know what to say. Tom, what about you? What do you do with your dad?
You know, my dad wasn't really into cars like we are. Although when he was young, you know, he dabbled in a lot of stuff. He was a baseball player and he got hurt, and he fooled around with cars. He did a lot of stuff, but he actually street raced Wally Dallenbach, who was he was a cup driver. Well, his father. So Wally Dallenbach's son drove Cup for a couple of years. He didn't amount to much, but that was his big claim to fame. And he had some, 58 Oldsmobile, this and that. And,
cool.
But he did kind of get me into cars. Like if racing was on, he would put it on and we'd watch it. And he just didn't have a lot of interest after a certain age. But I stuck with it, obviously. But I mean, I'm still tight with my dad.
Here's a quick question.
Cool.
Uh-oh.
Probably nobody's going to know it either.
I will.
I know the car I was brought home from the hospital in, and it was a DZ302 Camaro with the exhaust that has no mufflers, it's all chambers. And they kind of accuse that maybe why I am so into loud cars. Because the first time you're in a car, you're in a rumbling Z28 going home, and the 60, it could be.
I would have thought it was a byproduct of a head drop.
No, that came way after.
What year was that? 68 Camaro?
8 or 9, I can't remember right now. I was born in 69,
The
so probably
302
69.
came in 68 or 69?
7, 8, and 9.
Yep.
Yeah,
But it was only DZ in 69.
It was rear disc brake too, so it should be a 69.
Well, if it's a DZ, it's 69.
Right.
Was your dad a car guy? I mean, because I know he's always Tad's father's the guy that one day he comes home with a Honda S2000. Yeah,
no, that was my idea.
That was your idea?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he bought that butt ugly Subaru thing.
He wanted to get a Miata. I was like, no Miata. I was like, I'm showing you. We took him to Planet Honda. Boom, we came home with an S2000.
What ugly Subaru thing?
What was that butt ugly Subaru you had?
The SVX.
Oh my God.
He asked me, he's like, I need a loan.
That was the ugliest car on earth until Pontiac built the
Not
Aztec.
the Aztec. No, my father one day he goes, I need a check. I wrote him a $30,000 check because he was buying a car. I came home. What the hell is that in the driveway? It's a Subaru? And that, unfortunately, then I wrecked my...
I don't think the lesbians even picked up on that.
No, they wouldn't.
You're going to make fun of me on this one.
The lesbians made fun of people that bought that car.
I wrecked my CRX.
Your fact.
I wrecked my CRX. I told my father, I need the money that you owe me, paying the car off. He's like, oh, chuck the key to me. It's yours. I'm like, what am I going to do with this thing? It was a comfortable ass car, I'll tell you that much. And no matter what, snow, rain, thing was glued to the road.
Wow.
Yeah. Good looking too.
My God.
Well, going through the drive-through at White Castle with those windows, little window thing. Oh, that was a nightmare.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Stupid windows.
Yes, it did.
Oh yeah.
And I'm surprised they let you go through the drive-through in that.
Oh.
Wow.
But anyway.
And the irony of all of that, we're talking about the dads. My dad waited so long to get into the cars with me. My mother had a GTO with a 4-speed.
Wow.
She had a Pontiac. My mother was into it. She was into racing. She loved cars. So that's where I got it from, my mother.
My mom always had shit like that.
Yeah,
I mean, I remember, and I know one thing, and I bet she's still pissed off about it. I might want to bring it up to her if I really want to talk to her. She had a Corvair turbocharged.
Really?
Ooh. Wow.
And I think it was something, it's one of those things that something got hurt on it and it got taken apart and never put back together. Because I remember the parts were upstairs in the attic forever, like air cowls and all the other stuff. But she had that.
An extra belt.
Yeah, probably all kinds of, all the typical stuff that went wrong with those things. She had a few Corvettes. She did drag race. I don't know how much, but she did.
Wow.
Not all that long ago. I mean, we were here. You know, I mean, we had bought this place. She had a 97 or 98 Corvette. She had an RX-7. That was actually a cool car.
Wow.
That was what I learned to drive a stick on, that thing.
Oh, that's no low end whatsoever.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine if she had that Corvette now and it was in good condition.
Yeah.
and
Oh,
running.
yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
You never know. You never know what that dumb shit could be worth. But yeah, she had a Corvair. I'll have to.
My mom junked a 442 Cutlass.
Yeah.
Oof.
She always talks about that car.
So did your dad get into the car stuff to get closer with you, or did he just decide he liked it?
Just, you know, in his retirement age, he just decided, now I want to go get some older cars. And now I have to call him sometimes and say, hey, cut it out. Stop.
You're spending my inheritance.
Yeah, he just bought a 1979 Ford F-350 or no F-150 pickup truck with the panel. It's yellow. This truck is very clean. I mean, it's the cleanest panel truck I've ever seen, but who cares?
It's a panel truck.
And he loves it. He put air conditioning in it. He drives it. He loves it.
No, let him.
I couldn't believe
Let him have it.
Right, but I couldn't believe it. It's just a regular truck, but the wood paneling. Oh, I'm like, Dad, you either bored. You know, he has a little gun collection that he gets bored with that.
Hell yeah.
He's looking for cars in people's yards. He's all in the back trying to get it out the weeds. I'm saying, oh, this guy. But, you know, he's still here, so I have to be thankful.
Hell yeah.
And, you know, it is what it is. But the memories are what made me prompt the question.
Yeah. No, it's
Good question.
Yeah, and I thought about my dad, you know, a lot over this, you know, the Father's Day in this past week and the passing of Mr. Cornell, you know, that hurt too. Right. You know, it's just, yeah, I mean, listen, the bottom line is a little moral of this podcast. If there's ever anything anybody ever takes away good is that, you know, you never know when it's going to change, you know? Yep. So if your dad's here, you know, spend some time with him, you know, it doesn't need to be Father's Day, you know, just realize you got him.
Right.
Because one day might not be there. All right. Anything else, you collective wackos?
Actually, when you called me up Father's Day for us to go out in the Razor looking at stuff, and I was like, you know, it's Father's Day. You're like, oh, I forgot. All right, you know, do what you have to do. And my father's like, I'm going to go out on my own.
Even your dad dissed you?
Well, no,
we beat it.
He already ate.
We're going to do like, man, my kid's fucked up. He's got to get out of here.
We're going to do a Five Guys thing. I had to pay. And I talked to him. He goes, oh, no, I already had Five Guys. Too late.
You didn't know that your dad called Mike and had him get you out of the house.
Please get this guy. Mike, can you do something with him? I want to enjoy my dad. Yeah. Just get him out of here.
Until next time, people.
Yep. We'll see you next time.
Later.
See you later. Say goodbye, Tad.
I'm not going to say goodbye to myself this time.